Hi, Karen.
Hi, so sorry.
It's okay.
I was having connection problems.
Oh, I thought you forgot.
No, no. That'd be
How are you? How
horrible.
are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. So it's 12 p.m. Have you had lunch?
No, I haven't yet.
Have I
I'm
just
gonna start eating in like maybe right after this.
like budge in and just like kind of move your lunch a bit later?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. How are you doing? How's the whole pandemic situation been for you?
It's been okay. So honestly, as like every other creative, I feel like it's our normal life because we're already like cooped up, editing, shooting indoors all the time, anyways. But obviously there is a drastic change, like not being able to see family members, not being able to, shoot the way you want to, or like just be able to see friends. Like it is weird. It's different.
Yeah.
But I'm loving the hibernation, to be honest. I've been like just really working on myself and just, healing, the wellness side of things.
That's good though. I think it's always important to have like some me time. And
Yeah.
considering what we all do and this industry, we're always like busy with like so much work, so we don't actually get time for that. And I'm pretty sure you don't get time for that either.
No, I feel like I never make time for it. That's the thing. Like I just don't even like I realized how I was working before was not normal. Like I was working late hours, like working overtime for no reason. And I just think, why was I putting so much pressure on myself? Like there's no, where was like time running? Like why was I acting like I was running out of time all the time? So
Yeah.
I realized that that's definitely not how I want to go back into working, and I want to take time for myself.
It's been a bit of a road for you. You started off with so many, like just the YouTube channel you started off with. And then it went to, the Anarkali show, and then now ChaCha Cup, and you're like international. You even did like the BritAsia Music Awards last
Yeah,
year. And
that's
you looked absolutely stunning. We've actually got some pictures on this whole wall of you as well. So that's
oh,
cute.
do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll send you a picture afterwards if you want.
yeah.
But yeah, so last year was definitely a bit of a road for you as well. How has it been? How has the career kind of gone up for you?
It's been amazing. I'm so like appreciative of everyone supporting, and whatever project I put out, even if it's super crazy, I feel like everyone's just so supportive of my ideas and endeavors, whether it be my team, whether it be my audience. It's really amazing to be able to have such a supportive, loving audience and support base. Like I feel like I've really grown as a person, and as a creative, and I've been able to put out incredible pieces of work with like the most amazing teams, and I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Yeah. Starting up, was it a bit difficult? Did you feel sometimes it was just like, is this getting anywhere, or did you feel like that quite a lot? Or because I think as influencers, you do have that.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think I have self-doubt every single day, and just like have that question, like, am I doing the right thing? But I know that because like this type of work doesn't, you don't reap the rewards right away. I mean, of course there's Instagram where you post something and it doesn't get the same, like, you get the instant gratification. But I think what I enjoy and like what I like is like being able to work on a long-term project and then putting it out and realizing, like, even with all that effort and energy and hours you put in, it's so amazing to see the rewards that time, because you don't see it right away with creatives. I think you have to like really wait a long time for anyone to really understand
Yeah.
the
Was
amount of time.
there this kind of like backlash from the parents, or have the parents always been supportive with what you do? And it's a bit, creative side for us girls, it's a bit of a hit and miss with our parents. So was it like that for you, or it was cool?
Oh, definitely. My mom was always pretty much very supportive. She would just like whatever auditions I wanted to go to, modeling, photo shoots, acting stuff, whatever it was. She was always kind of just like okay, go, but like be back at this time, or like don't tell your dad or whatever. And my dad honestly has come such a long way. Like he was very, very strict before. And the person he is now is like completely opposite. I think it's because of the work that I was doing on myself, the work that I was putting out there. I like, again, you don't see the rewards right away, but when he did see like, you know, some little success, like, you know, being covered in like an article or like being covered by a publication, stuff like that. Like I think my dad started to be more supportive and saw that like there's something here.
Yeah, yeah. And like obviously we do come, this is such an interesting topic because there's so many girls that want to like do something creative, but I think there's always barriers set by our parents or the culture we come in. I mean, it's a bit more acceptable now because there's so many girls doing it out there and they're doing so well. But like what do you kind of just suggest to them? Because I feel like sometimes it gets hard for them, like sometimes it gets really like too much for their mental health as well because you're always thinking about it, you don't know what to choose. And it's, I mean, most girls make the decision at quite a young age as well. You were pretty young when you I mean, you're still young, but like you were pretty really young when you started it.
I'm not
So
that young. Yes.
but like what do you kind of suggest to the girls, because you have like a massive girl following as well?
Yeah. I would say, you know what, like it's a lot harder to just be like, nah, forget about what your family thinks and just do what you want to do, because we obviously, especially if you're like coming from like the South Asian community, there is a lot of family, like you're just around family all the time, right? So like family holds like a strong part of your life. And I think that when I was going through it, I was going through it alone. And like, you know, there's only a couple other girls I knew at the time that wanted to kind of do the same things. And I would always encourage them. But I think the best thing you can do for yourself is honestly just continue pushing forward. And once you start seeing a little bit of success, like I promise you that whether it be your parents or whether it be family members or whoever it is, they will start seeing it as well. It just takes so much time, and you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with them. They're not used to, you know, being able to have these opportunities. And I had to be super compassionate about that with my parents, because I'm like, they work like long labor hours and jobs, and like what am I gonna assume that they understand that I want to go into the arts, you know, and like choose to not be financially stable? Like that's obviously not what they want. They came here to see us be successful. And I think their terms of success obviously comes with the doctor, lawyers, engineers, but I think when it comes to young women, like we are our own storytellers. And I say this all the time, like we have to be the ones that do it for generations to come. If I can make it easier for the younger generation, then that's my job. Like I have to take the heat now, so it is easier for girls to say, oh yeah, I want to do that, and their parents be okay with it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I think like it's this generation like doing all of this crazy stuff out there. I think they have had to take the heat, like and it's gonna be worth it at the end. And I've seen like how well you're doing right now, and it does make us proud. And like it does feel like, okay, our girls are doing so well, and it's nice to like when I saw you on stage, I was just like, I remember watching this girl on like YouTube, like back in the days.
Oh.
Back in the days, that sounds very old.
I know, right? But it is like I started like 6 years ago, which is still like a
That's
long time
long.
ago.
6 years ago
Yeah.
was quite a long time
Yeah.
ago. Before like Instagram was like a big thing.
Yeah. It's so crazy to see the journey. And I'm so happy that I've been able to surround myself with such like incredible, talented creatives who also get like, you know, they also get it and they understand the struggle, and like they're doing so well now. And to be a part of that is just, to see just history being made is amazing. Like I'm just so happy I'm a part of it.
What keeps you kind of going? Because you also have to kind of manage your social media. You have to manage like your shows, and then you have to manage like everything else, like your real life as well. You're also like you're a family girl as well, so you have your family always around. How do you manage everything?
It's something I've struggled with all my life, to have balance. I feel like, again, quarantine was a blessing for me because I finally understood what it meant to have balance and alone time. I never had alone time before. I would always be, and if I was having alone time, it was me working on something. So it was never like I'm actually, by myself with my own thoughts and like working on like, my healing. I felt like I had no time for it, really and truly, till quarantine happened. And I feel so much better about it because now I can give quality time and set boundaries for myself. Like, I'm going to be working from this time to this time, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go see my friends at this date and not just like overextend myself. I think that's what was a lot of Punjabi girls do, this is that they just kind of overextend themselves to everyone, be there for their family. Like this is not new. This is like every woman I know that has to balance their career, their life, their family. And it's been a long journey, but I'm glad to, I'm starting to really understand what it means to have proper balance and how much more better it is for your mental health.
I mean, in terms of strength as well, like, adding on to that question, like, you know, do you, because obviously everybody has, like, the down days, and we don't want to get out of bed. It's like you don't want to face anyone. You feel like everything is going bad, although things might not be going as bad as you think. But sometimes it gets to that point where you're just kind of breaking down, and like coming back from it, because if you break down, sometimes you can end up in a very bad situation, and like it's hard to come out of that. Has that kind of happened to you? Like, do you wake up every day, and where do you get the strength to kind of just keep going? Because there's a lot of backlash in the industry as well. You get a lot of hate.
Mm-hmm. I think before I would take I would take a few hours and just allow myself to be like sad and then like kind of get back into it because I would feel so guilty not working. But now I'm so much more gentle. Like, I'm just a lot more gentle with myself. I feel like I have to really allow myself to just be sad and just like be upset or whatever if it really is getting to me, even if I just don't want it to be detrimental to my whole day. I do allow time for myself, but it's hard. Like, you have to put yourself out there all the time and allow for public criticism, people that think that you know you because you put yourself out there. So, but a lot of things I keep private, and I think that's why I try to have a balance of even what I share. And it's hard sometimes because people might misjudge your character, and those are the things that always get to me. If like someone thinks I'm like a certain way when I'm not, and I have to like really like gather myself and be like, okay, what am I making out of this, and why am I allowing it to get to me this much? And I have to really just be a lot more kinder to myself. And I think it's totally okay to stay in bed for however long you need to. Last year I took some time off for the first time after I lost my grandma, and that was the first time I ever took off work in like 10 years. So I feel like when I lost her, I really understood what it means to take time off and grieve and not feel bad about it. I did for such a long time, but I think it came with understanding that I need to take my time with stuff, and I'm finally doing that.
And it's just so important to take a break. I think when we're working, it's just like we actually don't take holiday. Like, I don't know, we feel really guilty taking holiday, and like it's just like you're even if you are on like a day off, you'll probably be thinking about work, and you just never like mentally go off from that.
Yeah.
So I think it is something that you have kind of just showed as well, that it is like, even what you're saying right now, it is so important to just take some time off, and we have to realize that, to be honest. And I think the pandemic has kind of taught us that.
Yeah.
It,
And it's so, I would always say, like, I'm again surrounded by such amazing people. Like, my friends are my chosen family. Like, I get to talk to them at any point at any time, and they'll give me the most sound advice and whatever I need to hear at that moment. So I think I'm just, again, and I have the most amazing partner who is also so, supportive and compassionate. And I feel like that is just, that's what you need. You just need people around you. Surround yourself with people that actually want to see you thrive.
Adding on to that, can I just say, like, it was just goals seeing you guys on the red carpet at, at the awards. I could just see him take care of you, and I was like,
yeah, he's so sweet.
that was like one of the cutest moments of the red carpet.
Why
Like,
am I turning red? Oh my god.
oh. Then comes into picture Anarkali show. Now that was a massive boundary break, like in the culture. Like I remember watching the first season and the first episode, and I was just like, whoa, like are these girls like for real? Like are they actually going to like do that? And then so how was that? Like, you know, what was the response to the first episode? And obviously you've done other seasons as well. It wasn't just the one. So it obviously shows that you got good response. But coming up with that and then putting that out there, how hard was it? And like, you know, just coming up with the whole idea.
I think so the idea comes from Rocky Mutta, who is the director, the creator, the writer of Anarkali. And her and I ended up meeting on like literally going to some feminist conference, and she picked me up and literally she's like, I had this show idea and you're the girl, like you're Anarkali. And that was the first time we met. Like just automatically she's like, let's do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like I was already at that point making stuff on YouTube, sharing short films and whatnot. So I was already doing the work and I was completely game. Literally 2 months later, we decided to shoot the first 3 episodes. And really, it was just a set of, again, like such powerful brown women. There's like 21 brown women out of 23 people that were on set that time. And it just showed you that how necessary it was to have this and how much we needed it. And like, we didn't realize how big it would get because we just wanted to put it out there. Like for us, is like, this is what we want to do. This is our job. This is our, you know, our own stories that we're putting together. And it's a lot of work. Like, you know, I ended up becoming the editor of the show as well. So I was editing like 22 hours a day at points of time, writing the script. Next week we would be shooting it. Like it was just so much work for the first 2 seasons. And then the third season, luckily, we got a huge sponsor that sponsored the entire series. And like that's the thing, right? Like that's why it's so hard to now, when you're an independent production, to get the next season going, because you're depending so much on funding. And it's not just like a team of you and one other person, it's an entire team you're trying to get together to work for this. And it's a lot harder than people assume. You know, people are just like, hey, where's the next season? Well, I'm like, I would love for another season, but we also, that's the problem with our community. We want so much free content. We don't realize that there's so much work that goes behind that. And we need to be making more room for the arts to thrive.
Yeah. And like, even like the topic of like, I think the whole like concept and like, you know, the underlying message throughout the show, like it is something that people don't really talk about. Like it is something that everybody relates to, yet nobody talks about it. For you, was there like a point where you had like your, like, you know, some people of your family members say like, what are you doing? Or like, why are you talking about this? What's going on? Like, was there that as well that you had to face, like when the show came out?
With my family, they were pretty supportive for the most part. Like I just told my dad not to watch it. Just because I'm like, you're not going to be able to disassociate. Like you have to know it's a character. And like, I always explain that to him. Now it's so funny because he's like, I want to be an actor too. Can you put me in something? So like, I feel like it's helped him really understand that he needs to like be more supportive. My mom loves the show. Like she's obsessed. So she wants another season too. And for the most part, I think it's the community that comes back with their own thoughts of like certain scenes. Like there was a scene where Anarkali was like getting drunk, and like there was backlash with that. And and it was interesting because there's so many people that are like, well, this is what's actually happening. These are like real stories of like, you know, people in our community. Like, why are we dismissing that? Why are we shaming women for being, you know, as liberated as they are? And I feel like Anarkali really shows a side of brown women that we never get to see on TV. So,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like I've been Anarkali at one point in my life. Everyone can relate to her. Everyone knows an Anarkali in their life. So I think that's why the show did as well as it did. And I think, you know, hopefully we hope for another season and more to come.
In terms of like the name Anarkali as well, like the name is so like, you know, it just contradicts the whole character. The character and the name doesn't go, but then when you watch the whole show, then it goes really well. Like, was there a whole message behind the name as well? Obviously, the name is always one of the most significant parts of the character.
Anarkali is, so if you watch Mughal Azam, the main character, that was Rocky's favorite movie growing up. So she was obsessed with the storyline of like Prince Salim and Anarkali. And it's funny because Anarkali's ex-boyfriend's name is Prince. So that's basically where it was inspired by. That's the reference there.
That's cool. Then now you're doing ChaCha Cup, and ChaCha Cup is like, you know, being aired on TV. So much love, and like it's so interesting to watch as well. And like, you know, we've seen like so many like familiar faces, so many amazing personalities on the show. And every Friday I'm tuned in, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the UK are tuning in as well. ChaCha Cup and the production, you do everything for that. And I actually didn't know that before, because when I used to watch it on your channel, I thought it was just, you know, edited by somebody else. Then here I found out that you're doing everything for it.
Me and my best friend's also business partner Baljeet Singh. So we are basically doing everything from like producing it, shooting it. Oh, there she is, Singh. Producing it, shooting it, having guests on, putting together like the guest packages as well. Like we make these like mugs and like make the guests feel special. Putting together questions, like all the research. There's so much that goes into ChaCha Cup. And
to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always messed up on interviews, and I always say something like, you know, that's not actually to do with them, and then has that happened with you as well? Like, have you ever like turned around and like not actually known who the person is, and you're just like, oh?
That's happened to me only one time, and that was just because we were doing a podcast, and like, so it wasn't actually like a video version, it was like the podcast version. And I don't even know why I'm admitting this, but basically, like, we got it from the network we were working with. This is literally the only guest I didn't know. And she was like a filmmaker, and she was here from like one of the biggest documentary hot docs film festivals. And yeah, she came, and I had no idea like what to do, but I did do my research like right away, like really quickly, and just like and the interview went really well. Like, it was good, but I honestly had no idea who she was. And like, I was so scared I was gonna say something that didn't make sense, but it was good.
At least there's somebody else that relates to it. I actually messed up like a couple of days ago, and I was like,
oh no.
And then anyway, moving on, that's like just the thing that happens sometimes, like the embarrassing moments. Then comes in the BritAsia Music Awards, and then you hosted that, and there was a massive crowd, and it was, you know, it's very rare that Asian girls have been on the stage of Wembley, and you're one of the very few girls that have been on the stage. How was that? Because you know what, standing and talking from personal experience, standing in front of so many people is always very nerve-wracking. Yeah. How was that experience though?
It was weird. I thought I would be so nervous. I was like, I had a lot of anxiety when we first landed, and coming up with the script and everything, like with Jessa, I was like, it was it was just like we didn't have time to like go over it. And then when we were on stage and like at rehearsal, I felt at home, if that makes sense. Like I love being on stage, and I think it was just like I was so scared because I had to speak on stage. Like it's different when you're like performing or dancing or whatever. But it was interesting to be there and just be able to like share this stage with so many amazing, talented singers and performers. I was just really grateful.
Yeah,
It was an incredible experience.
that was really nice, and I got to watch you like on the front seat, so you know.
Oh,
I was
okay.
happy
Even
about
like, I saw a picture of Beyonce in backstage and that she performed there, and I was like, I guess I'm Beyonce now. So
Yeah, because you might be, to be honest, like you never know if you're in the same like green room as her. Like you never
right?
know. Yeah, like she might be
I
in
was
the
like,
same green room.
I know.
So you can take the Beyonce feeling. Like it's absolutely fine.
That's what I embodied.
What's coming next, and what are you doing next, and what are you like planning on doing now? Because of course there's like this whole like pandemic situation. Things are getting back to normal, but like what's coming? What are we so like? Are we seeing you in movies? Because I've heard a bit.
Oh, I'm like working on a few different projects. I have a lot of amazing big things coming up, but I would say just to like not say too much, but I'm working on ChaCha Cup again for the next season, and then we're also working on a new series I'm excited to release, and then of course yeah, some new short films as well, which I'm excited to share.
That's interesting. It's really interesting. I'm intrigued. Um, like, what's the one thing that kind of just like we've talked about like this throughout the whole live and stuff, and like the fact that your family keeps you going. But what's this other thing that kind of keeps you going and just not stopping, not looking back, and whatever's happened, it's happened, and you just kind of move forward. So, what's the one thing that you kind of really cherish in your life, or like really like keep close to your heart?
I would say I would say, damn, one thing. You just have to be one thing.
Just the one thing.
The first thing that came to my head was my spirit. I feel like it was just, and then my community. But I would say my spirit, just because the fact that there's so many things that could have stopped me. I could have stopped so many times, but I've been able to continue moving forward, even though I felt like giving up so many times. It just I don't know, like the fact that there's so much determination and ambition in me to just keep it going and know that I have a purpose and believe in that purpose. Even if I can't see it yet, I can't see the rewards, like I mentioned before. I think to be able to still have so much faith,
Yeah.
that is definitely what's keeping me going.
You're so inspiring.
Oh,
I probably sound like really like fangirling, but you're so inspiring.
thank you.
The
You're
thing
so
is,
sweet.
we've had like so many like we haven't had that many girls on the live. So every girl that's come in, or like every woman that's come in from the industry, and like they've came on, they're like, oh, so inspiring, and I get really excited because I'm like, I feel like there's just no girls that want to come out and actually talk. So it's nice to
No,
see that.
Sorry, do you
Yeah.
I just said I'm getting. And you know what's funny? I feel like with girls, we just giggle so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even something funny, and then we'll just start laughing randomly, and then
I
people
know.
in the comments just like what's going on?
I know. We're like, okay, what are they doing? With guys, it's just like, yo, what's up? So yeah, I'm good.
That's the thing.
So.
Sometimes with guys, when like you're talking to them, like even in the lives and stuff, it's just like they're just not on the same vibe sometimes.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Anyway, so anything you want to say to all the girls, all the guys watching the live, just before I let you go?
Okay, well, first of all, you should be watching ChaCha Cup with KayRay every Friday on BritAsia and Sunday. Then I would just say that everyone has a purpose and everyone's existence is so temporary. I would just say you have to live it out. Like you have to, that is the take this time, all this quarantine time, all this stuff that is happening in the news, take it with a grain of salt and just be able to understand that you have so much unlimited power to tap into, and I really hope you find it.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it was like very like, you know, short notice, but thank you so much for taking the time out and just not having lunch and then taking your time out of lunch for us.
I'm about to have literally a ChaCha Cup right now, so I'm good.
Anyway, I hope you take care and have a lovely day. Thank you so much once again, Karen.
Thank you so much. So nice to be here. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.